Yes, sir. All right, man. So you see the title, you see the thumbnail. We're going to get right into it. Shots fired. Things are going down. Things are heating up on the international stage. I just want to make sure, quick 1 2 1 2 testing, make sure y'all are hearing me and everything's going according to plan. But yes, so we can see if you've been paying attention in North Korea, shots have been fired. They're calling them quote unquote warning shots. Warning shots have been fired at North Korean troops who quote unquote accidentally crossed the DMZ. Listen, right now there's no such thing as an accident. These things are there's a lot of testing going on. There's testing of the boundaries, testing of the red lines. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. There's a lot of that going on. Who has kids? Who's ever been around kids? Brothers and sisters. Who has a sister? Who has a brother? Who has siblings? And you play that I'm not touching you game. I'm not touching you. I'm getting close, but I'm not touching you. There's a lot of that going on. And there's not a lot of media coverage on the situation between North Korea and South Korea. This is important because, as we know, China is backing North Korea. China is really the puppeteer behind North Korea, keeping North Korea afloat. And the United States is behind supporting South Korea, keeping South Korea safe from North Korea. The only thing keeping South Korea safe is the promise of the United States backing. So there's a lot of implications going on here as far as the North Korean South Korean DMZ line. Not only that, we see things heating up in Ukraine and Russia, with Joe Biden, who has just greenlit strikes on Russian soil. Joe Biden has just allowed Ukraine, weapons donated to Ukraine, to be used to attack Russia directly on Russian soil. So tonight we're going to get into it. We're going to check out some articles. We're going to watch some clips, and we're going to stay vigilant, guys. We got to stay vigilant. We got to stay aware of what's going on the international stage. A lot of times we in America, we get so caught up on what's going on in our lives. I'm so busy with my 9 to 5 trying to save up for retirement, trying to save up to, send kids to college, trying to save my money to fix the car and fix the heater. And we get so caught up in our own lives that a lot of times we forget to look at the bigger picture. We ignore the fact of things that are going on an international stage, which may one day come back to affect us. So, whereas we should be staying vigilant so that we can prepare or even know or even think about the need to prepare, a lot of times we get so tunnel vision and pigeonholed into our own small domestic pieces of the puzzle that we ignore what's going on the wider stage. So today we're going to take a moment to be aware, stay woke, right? We're going to stay woke. We're going to stay aware. We're going to stay conscious of what's going on the international stage. So without further ado, let's get into it. So North Korea, this whole thing started off, quote unquote, started off when North Korea sent over 600 balloons of trash over the border to South Korea. You don't believe me? Check this out. So North Korea sent some balloons carrying garbage such as cigarette butts, cloth, paper waste, and plastic found on the capital of Seoul, between 8 p.m. and 10 a.m., South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said. Now, I've actually been to Seoul. It's a very nice city. It's a very clean, beautiful city is Seoul. I've been there multiple times actually. So I like Seoul. I've been there. What this is, as I said at the beginning, this is North Korea testing South Korea. This time they're sending balloons full of trash, but this is a message to the North Korean intelligence services. This is a message saying, okay, this time we're sending cigarette butts in paper and plastic, but next time we could be sending biological weapons. We could be sending biological materials, waste and hazard. This time it's plastic and cigarette butts, but what this could be is anyone who was alive back in the year Y2K 2001 remembers what was that white powder? The white powder that was being sent through the mail. You guys help me out in the comment section. I'm sure you remember. In 2001, everyone was scared they might get anthrax. Everyone was scared they might get anthrax in the mail, right? Now this time, North Korea is sending 600 balloons to South Korea full of trash, but this is a warning to the intelligence services saying, hey, if we wanted to, we could have filled these balloons up with whatever we wanted to. We could have filled it up with explosive devices. We could have filled it up with biological warfare, right? We could have with infected materials. Think about what the Europeans did to the Native Americans with smallpox. This could be used. This method could be used in various ways. Just like remember, just like mind you, when China sent their weather balloons right across the United States, what that was, it was a test. It was showing, hey, we're able to send items across into your airspace. So don't get too comfortable. This is a signal. So this is what really set this thing off. This was the first, not the first, but one of many um, antagonistic actions from North Korea against South Korea. Right? Not only that, then we see in this article, as we can read, let's go down to our articles. South Korea fired warning shots after North troops accidentally crossed the border, Seoul says. Let me tell you something. Right now, in the times we're living in, there's no such thing as an accidentally crossing the border. Troops accidentally crossing the border. That's not what happened. These are these are tests. These are disguised. These are provocative actions intentionally being taken, to provoke and test South Korea and test the West, the United States as a broader party. North Korea is testing South Korea. China is testing the United States, right? North Korea and China are like this. South Korea and US are like this. So when we see, oh, the North Korean troops accidentally crossed the border, no, there's no accident about this. All right, let's read a little bit more of this article, and then we're going to get deeper into what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. So South Korea headlines reads, fired warning shots after North Korea accidentally crossed borders, Seoul says. And this article was written June 11th, 2024. Okay, so this is relatively recent. I don't want you all thinking this was a long time ago. This was June 11th. This is new. Seoul, South Korea. South Korean forces fired warning shots on Sunday after North Korean troops, quote unquote, accidentally. You see, they're trying to downplay this. They're trying to give cover. Oh, it was an accident. Oh, it was just warning shots. They're trying to downplay the significance of this issue. They don't want people to panic. But this is something that people should be aware of. North Korean troops accidentally crossed their shared border, Seoul's military said, as tensions simmer on the North Korean peninsula following a series of tit-for-tat exchanges between the two sides. So think about this. North Korea sends down 600 balloons full with trash, and days later, troops from North Korea just accidentally cross into South Korea. And the two are totally unrelated. This was just a fluke accident. That's what you're telling me? No, this is tit for tat exchanges. These are a series of tests. These things are related. These things are not an accident. In a news briefing Tuesday, the South Korean military appeared to downplay the significance of the gunfire, saying North Korean soldiers quickly retreated and didn't appear to have any intention of invading the southern side. Right? There was no unusual movements other than the North Korean army immediately moving north after our warning shots. So they're trying to downplay the significance of North Korean troops, multiple troops, crossing into the South Korean side of the border. And they're saying, oh, well, they immediately retreated. They immediately retreated, yeah, but they still had to cross. They're testing you all. They're testing y'all. All right? There was one more thing from this article I wanted to point out before we move on. Kim Yo Jong, the powerful sister. Oh, yes, okay. The report of the incident comes amid heightened tensions of the hundreds of trash filled balloons launched from the North Korean landed in the South Korean government in Seoul resumed loudspeaker propaganda. So, South Korea, after getting that trash, the 600 balloons, Seoul resumed loudspeaker propaganda broadcasts across the border. So, they start blaring propaganda so that the folks on the North Korean side could hear it. Kim Yo Jong. So first we have the balloons, 600 balloons filled with garbage coming from North Korea to South Korea. South Korea responds by blasting propaganda all through the night, all through the night, all through the day and night into the North Korean side of the peninsula. We're going to play the music so loud that the people in North Korea can hear it. Right? They're blasting propaganda. Then next thing you know, North Korea accidentally, according to the articles, the folks who were trying to downplay it, they accidentally crossed into South Korea, which makes South Korea fire warning shots at North Korean troops. This is a tit for tat escalation. There's a lot of testing and a lot of things behind the scenes going on here to show that things are heating up between not only North Korea and South Korea, but China is starting to let go of some of that rope. Some of that rope. There's a lot of wars and rumors of wars. We see what's going on in Israel and Gaza. We see what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. Now, North Korea is like, oh yeah, let me at him. Let me get involved. Let me at him. Let me get at South Korea. We can see multiple fronts, multiple fronts. So when you think about a world war isn't World War Three. People like to talk about World War Three. World War Three isn't just there's one line and one line, one spot of conflict. No, there's going to be multiple. It's a world at war. There's going to be multiple sites, multiple fronts of conflict. And the North Korean peninsula is not one that's going to sit World War Three out. So the report of the incident comes amid, okay, cross it. So Kim Yo Jong, the powerful sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, late Sunday, warned the resumption of the loudspeaker broadcast was a prelude to a very dangerous situation, and that South Korea would be subject to an unspecified new counteraction from the North Korea if it continued with the action. So again, there was warning before the North Korean troops crossed accidentally into South Africa. Kim Yo Jong warned South Korea, hey, if you guys continue to put your loudspeakers on, this is going to become a dangerous situation. There's going to be a counter reaction. We will react. And then all of a sudden, following these words, all of a sudden some troops, some North Korean troops, just stumbled across the South Korean DMZ line. The 160-mile demilitarized zone, DMZ, dividing North Korea and South Korea, is one of the world's most heavily armed borders. Lined by high fences and filled with landmines, it is largely emptied of human activity. The incident Sunday marked the first instance of gunfire within the DMZ since 2020, when there was another accidental exchange of shots between the two Koreas. All right. So we can see things in the North Korean side are heating up. And this, as I mentioned, there's multiple fronts going on here. There's multiple fronts going on here as things are heating up around the world. So we see it started off with trash. We see it's moving on to gunfire, and we'll keep an eye on the escalation that tends to occur in North Korea and South Korea, because it's only a matter of time before China decides to invade Taiwan, North Korea invades South Korea, Russia then will have will continue its conflict with Ukraine, and the fronts of this conflict are just becoming wider and wider. And I want to bring this up. As I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, Joe Biden has now okayed, given the green light to Zelensky in Ukraine to begin targeting Russian facilities on Russian soil. Ukraine has wasted no time attacking Russian targets in Russia. Y'all check this out. So Ukraine uses weapons to strike inside Russia, according to a senator and a Western official. We see this picture of Lloyd Austin and Zelensky, Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, and President Zelensky, the dictator of Ukraine, plotting about how they're going to start to take on big bad Russia. It's crazy. It's crazy. They really don't care. They really don't care about risking World War III, risking nuclear annihilation. Powers that be, man. Let me tell you. Let's read a little bit of this article before I give you all some clips to watch. Washington, Ukraine has used U.S. weapons to strike inside Russia in recent days, according to a U.S. senator and a Western official familiar with the matter. The weapons were used under recently approved guidance from President Joe Biden. Under what? The weapons were used under what? The weapons were used under approved guidance from President Joe Biden, allowing American arms to be used to hit targets inside Russia for the limited purpose of defending Kharkiv. Oh, it was limited. We just allowed them to attack Russia within Russia just because we wanted to get the heat off of Kharkiv, right? Just because we're trying to get the heat off of Kharkiv, which is Ukraine's second largest city. Okay, but that pressure is not going away. So what? You're going to start passing Russia and Vladimir Putin's red lines. He said if you allow your U.S. and Western weapons to attack Russia within Russia, we will consider that an attack by NATO forces itself, and we will then have justification according to our own laws to then target NATO members. While it's a conflict between Ukraine and Russia, sure, you're giving weapons to Ukraine to defend itself, but that Russia is acknowledging this is a special operation in Ukraine. But when you start to attack Russia on Russian soil, now you're starting to open up counterattacks from the NATO allies who are providing these weapons. When you start to attack Russia within Russia, now you're escalating. Now you're escalating. And this is something we have to be cognizant of because it's that slippery slope. A lot of times we just know, oh, there's a Russia-Ukraine conflict, and but if we don't watch that slippery slope, it'll get away from us, and we'll miss it. We'll look up and say, hey, how did this happen? Well, this is how it happened. President Joe Biden, instead of calling for a ceasefire, instead of calling for negotiations, is saying, oh yeah, let's go ahead and use our weapons to attack Russia within Russia. And if there's a counterattack, right? The officials was not authorized to comment publicly on the sensitive matter and spoke on condition of anonymity. Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota, a member of the State Armed Services Committee, confirmed the strikes with U.S. weapons, but didn't say how he was briefed. Biden's directive allows the U.S. supplied weapons to be used to strike Russian forces that are attacking or preparing to attack. It Something else, man. All right, there was one more thing I wanted to get out of this article before I play the clips for you guys. Let me see. Germany announced soon after the White House altered its policy that it was also authorizing Ukraine to hit some targets on Russia's soil with long range weapons they are supplying to Kiev. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned Germany on Wednesday that the use of its weapons by Ukraine to strike inside Russia, this is what I wanted to highlight. This is what I wanted to highlight. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned Germany on Wednesday that the use of its weapons by Ukraine to strike inside Russia would mark a dangerous step, and he said Moscow could in turn provide long range arms to others to strike Western targets. So now that Russia's getting attacked within Russia, you're opening yourself up to retaliation. And y'all check this out. Tell me, do you think? Tell me, do you think Putin is putting forth a strong argument here or not?
No. What don't you understand? Are we putting missiles near the borders of the United States? No. It's the United States with their missiles coming to our home. They're literally on our doorstep. Is this really too much to ask? No more strike systems on our doorstep. What's so unusual about that? How would American people feel if we put our missiles on the Canada-US border, for example? Or if we put our missiles on the Mexico-US border? As though Mexico and the US never had any territorial issues. California used to belong to whom? And Texas? Have you forgotten? Oh, right, it's quiet now. Nobody brings it up.
See, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you don't think that Putin is putting forth a strong argument here, then I would ask you. Putin is arguing that his reason for invading Ukraine is that he feels like his country is being surrounded by NATO forces. When the German wall, the Berlin Wall fell down and the USSR collapsed, their agreement was fine, you can have your NATO, but don't encroach, don't go east. Don't go east. And country after country has begun to join NATO, and Russia has just put up with it. Russia just accepted it. But the last straw was Ukraine. Ukraine has been pushing to get in NATO, and Russia is saying no, we cannot allow Ukraine to join NATO because Ukraine has been used in war after war historically as an entry point of invading Russia. So in order to protect ourselves, says Vladimir Putin, Ukraine must remain neutral. Must remain neutral. If they do not promise to be neutral, we will assume that they are taking the side of NATO. If this logic is not true, tell me how it would be different if Ukraine was a part of NATO. Because I see the United States giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're greenlighting Ukraine to attack Russia with the weapons that we're giving to Ukraine. So if Ukraine was a part of NATO, how would that be any different? They're not a part of NATO, and look at all we're giving them. They might as well be part of NATO because we're treated the way that we're treating them. We're treating them like they're a part of NATO. We're giving them hundreds of billions of dollars. We're giving them weapons. We're telling them that they can attack Russia inside of Russia with the weapons we give them. We're treating Ukraine as if they are a part of NATO, which tells me that Vladimir Putin was right. When Vladimir Putin said, hey, we can't allow Ukraine to be used as part of NATO because you will use Ukraine to attack us. He was right. Because look at how we're treating Ukraine. We're treating them like they are a NATO member, and they're not. Now, if we said, hands off, if we said, hey, Ukraine's not a NATO member, so Russia wants to invade Ukraine, that's a tragedy. That's something we denounce. We're going to hit Russia with sanctions. economic warfare. Okay, we're going to boycott, divest, BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction. All right, that's fair. And I bet all of this conflict, this whole war would have gone away overnight. But that's not what they wanted. The powers that be were trying to antagonize and provoke this war with Ukraine or with this war with Russia. And they know what they were doing. And it's both sides. It's not just the Republican or Democrat. It's not just the Democrats. It's not just Joe Biden. Y'all check out what the Republican Chuck Schumer had. Not Chuck Schumer, excuse me. But what's his name? I just had a brain fart. What's the Republican starts with an M? This old man who I just had a brain fart. But this Republican man who had a stroke on air. Look at what he has to say.
If you look at the Ukraine assistance, let's talk about where the money is really going. A significant portion of it's being spent in the United States in 38 different states, replacing the weapons that we send to Ukraine with more modern weapons. So we're rebuilding our industrial base.
That's what President Biden's seeking to do.
It's correct. No Americans are getting killed in Ukraine. We're rebuilding our industrial base. The Ukrainians are destroying the army of one of our biggest rivals. I have a hard time finding anything wrong with that. I think it's wonderful that they're defending themselves. And also the notion that the Europeans are not doing enough. They've done almost $90 billion. They're housing a bunch of refugees who escaped. I think our NATO allies in Europe have done quite a lot.
You sound like you have a lot in common with President Biden and his worldview, based on what you just laid out.
Well, not on the domestic side, but on this issue that we're discussing today, we're generally in the same place.
We are generally in the same place. We're generally in the same place. As far as the Republicans and the Democrats can see, this is a win-win situation. Hey, we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, but we're taking the money back so that we can build our own industrial base. We're basically we're giving them our old weapons and using those hundreds of billions of dollars to restock our own inventory with the newer weapons. So this is a win-win, according to Joe Manchin. Not Joe Manchin. What is this man's name? You guys in the comment section, help me out, guys. I know this guy's name. I got a brain fart for some reason. Not Joe Manchin. Mitch McConnell. There you go. Mitch McConnell. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Mitch McConnell. According to Mitch McConnell, he's just like Joe Biden. Hey, this is a win-win. We're not dying. We're just allowing the Ukrainian people to die. We're getting new weapons. We're giving Ukraine our old weapons. It's a win-win. Guys, the U.S. economy is built off of selling death and destruction all around the world. You understand that? These people in power, they are literally they're exporting death and destruction. It's a war economy that they're trying to pursue. You know, when you look at your clothes, when you look at the tables that you buy, when you look at the lamps on the tables, when you look at the cups, these things are usually say what? Made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Mexico. When's the last time you saw something that said made in America? When's the last time you saw an item of clothing, something that you used? When's the last time you saw something that said made in America?
If you look,
I tell you what, it's been a long time since I've seen anything say made in America. We don't make anything. All we have the petrodollar and a service economy. We're entertainers. We've got athletes, we've got artists, we're entertainers, and we've excelled in death and destruction. We've got the strongest military. We're able to launder our money, taxpayers' money, by telling the taxpayers we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, only to give Ukraine old weapons and funnel that own money back into our own economy, making new weapons. It's just a cycle. Oh, we need more weapons. In order to get more weapons, we need more money. In order to get more money, just a cycle of death and destruction. The petrodollar, the only thing keeping the dollar afloat is the U.S. military, which is sad. Because it's basically an admission that the United States cannot compete with the rest of the world. Basically, we're just going to bully our way in the globe. Our whole economy is based off of the military-industrial complex and the petrodollar, which is propped up by the military-industrial complex. But if we were to try to compete by making products that are better than other countries at a cheaper rate, we couldn't do it because the price of our labor is too high. So instead of competing, what do? We take your stuff. We monetize corruption and military destruction. Bullies of the world. I saw this one clip. Hold on. Did I share that? I want to share this one more clip. And I hadn't prepared that, so let me bring this up. And the reason today I wanted to share this, and I just thought about it, was because, a lot of times we in America, a lot of us, we don't travel as much as we should as Americans. And we don't really get a good idea of what people around the world think of us. We don't really get a good sense of what people around the world see when they see us. Y'all check this out because I found it pretty interesting. Hold on. I want to make sure y'all can see this. Hold on. All right, check this out. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me replay that.
United Kingdom. And you?
Hold on. I'm from Pakistan. Hold on, I want to redo that one more time. Y'all check this out. Okay, check this out one more time. Here we go. I have to get the sound on for you. All right, check this out.
Hello, from the United States and United Kingdom. And you?
I'm from Pakistan. Where are you studying?
What?
In Pakistan, huh?
Pakistan, yeah, Karachi. U.S.
Terrorist.
No.
Terrorist country.
No. I'm
Terrorist.
a citizen.
Forget about the United
You can't define me.
Terrorist country.
Terrorist
Well, I'm just
country.
visiting, so.
Most terrorist country in the world.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Most terrorist country in the world. United States of America.
Nice to meet you, my friend.
Where are you from, my friend?
Hello, from the United States and United Kingdom. And you?
I'm from Pakistan. Where are you studying?
What?
In Pakistan, huh?
Pakistan, yeah, Karachi. U.S.
Terrorist.
No.
Terrorist country.
No. I'm a world citizen.
Forget about the United
You can't define me.
Terrorist country.
Oh, well, I'm just visiting, so.
Most terrorist country in the world.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Most terrorist country in the world.
Most terrorist country in the world. And you know what? We can't say that he's lying. We can't even say that he's lying. When we look at the history of the United States, when we look at what the United States is doing today, not way back when, today. If we look at the way that the U.S. funds wars and gets in the way of every peace agreement, every chance of peace, intentionally stopping and blocking peace deals like what we saw between Ukraine and Russia. They had a peace deal on the table. the United States via Boris Johnson went and blocked it on purpose. Because as Mitch McConnell said, hey, there's no difference between me and Joe Biden. I think what Joe Biden is doing as far as using Ukraine to renew our own weapons piles and give billions of dollars to Ukraine, I think that's the right approach, according to Mitch McConnell. The Republicans and Democrats are hand in hand, glove and fist. They're on the same page when it comes to the military-industrial complex. And people around the world are waking up. I remember I was living in China. And this was back in 2020. Was this in 2020? In 2019 or 2020, I think Trump dropped a bomb. It was like the mother of all bombs, I think, the Moab bomb. I think he dropped it on Syria. I think that's what the situation was, but I forget. It could have been a different situation that Trump was provoking. It was either in Syria or when he killed the general from Iran. And everyone was looking at me because I'm American. You know, I got American in my flags on WeChat. I got American flag on my content on my channel on my page because I'm always proud to be an American because of what the Black Americans have done. But the American as a country, I gotta be honest, it's hard to defend when on an international stage. When you go to some other countries and then look at what's going on, and they know that the United States is provoking war and preventing peace. And as an expat, not as an expat, but as someone who travels around the world, I know that when you say I'm America, a lot of times you say that with pride. You know, oh yeah, I'm American and I'm in your country, but I'm visiting. But at the end of the day, I'm American. A lot of us say that with pride when you leave America, but you don't expect to hear someone say, "Oh yeah, that's a terrorist country." A lot of times, being in China, I've had people say, "Oh, America, very dangerous country, very dangerous country. Too much guns, too many shootings. Oh, I'm glad you're in China. It's much safer here." I feel sorry for you people in America. When I told people when I was coming back to America from China, I had people ask me, "What? You want to go back to America? Why? Aren't you scared you'll get shot? It's so dangerous in America." In America, we're just used to it. We're just used to it. Hey, shout out to my boy Trayvon Jones. Hey guys, if y'all made it this far in the video, be sure to support the channel and subscribe to my man Trayvon Jones' channel. My man Trayvon Jones out here spreading the news. What's good, brother? We got to do a joint live sometimes, man. I've been reaching out for you, trying to get a collab video up for the longest, bro. You got to rock with me on a collab video. Trayvon Jones, he be speaking the truth, trying to wake up Yah's people, on his channel. See all the Hebrews out there, you know, all the black folks. Y'all be sure to check out Trayvon Jones. He's dropping some good content over there. So salute and shout out to Trayvon Jones. But yeah, as someone who's been you know, different countries, you'd be surprised the way that they look at us Americans. And it's natural for Americans to be proud of the country that we built. Foundation of Black Americans, us black folks, we should be proud of the fact that we were able to build the greatest country on earth. And what we should be proud of the things that we've survived in this country. The ability to survive and thrive despite having the strongest country on earth against us. The ability to overcome that is something that we should be proud of. But when people out here go overseas, you'd be surprised the way they look at us as Americans. I had people feel sorry for me when I told them I'm moving back to America. I told them I'm moving back to America. They look confused. Why would you want to do that? It's so dangerous. It's people shooting each other over there. You're much safer here in China. And you know what? They're not lying. They're not lying. This dude over here in Pakistan, this clip that I just showed. United States, biggest terrorist country. It's like this is how a lot of people overseas look at us. And you know what? When they tell the truth, you can't even call them liars. You can't say that they're lying. But hey, that's just what I think. If you've made it this far in the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button, support the channel, and it's free. By the way, if it's your first time watching, be sure to smash the subscribe button for content just like this. I drop videos on a large range of topics from news, politics, current events. We're dropping live streams, we're dropping shorts. If you like it, we love it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, so be sure to subscribe and come on back for more. One more time, salute and shout out to the boy Trayvon Jones. Said, I'm glad we're embracing being aboriginal to America. That's right. That's right. Man, I got folks, my personal history, I got folks that are Sioux. I'm from that are Sioux Native Americans. So I even know the tribe. Shout out to Aunt Gladys, R.I.P. God rest the dead. Shout out to my Aunt Gladys who did the history. She was the original pro-black folk in my family. In my family, I got Aunt Gladys who did the research, so I know all about the us being the Aboriginals in America. So yeah, Trayvon, you're right. You're right on point. You're right on point, man. We're all of that. We're all of that. Because the thing you got to understand is I'm Sioux, which means I'm Native American, Aboriginal. I'm Hebrew. I got the Hebrew blood in me. We got, and the blood is mixed. We got African blood too, man. We got Nigerian. A lot of us, if you do your 23andMe, you'll find out a lot of Black Americans have Nigerian blood. They've actually recently found that they call it Nigerian, even though at the time our ancestors were there was no such thing as Nigeria. Nigeria wasn't a country until much later. But the people who inhabited the region of what we now call Nigeria is where they have a large Hebrew residents there to this day. Look up the Igbo people. There's a lot of Hebrews, the remnant, even in Africa. So if you do your 23andMe, you find out, oh, I got some Nigerian blood. What they're calling Nigerian is actually Hebrew blood. Do your research on that. Do your research on that. But yeah, a lot of us are Native Americans, Aboriginals. Yeah, just do your research. The lineage, man, and it's important. I might have to do a whole nother live on the importance of DNA, the importance of lineage, because you got to understand DNA holds memories. Your DNA holds memories, and you're able to pass that memory down when you have your seed, when you have kids. When you reincarnate yourself when you have kids, you're able to push yourself into the future when you have kids. So when you have kids, you're taking all that memory, all the things you survived, aka the transatlantic slave trade, aka slavery, aka Jim Crow, segregation, all those things we survived. We've got that memory saved in our DNA. What's the memory? The memory of survival, the ability to survive. We are the greatest survivors of all time, and we are blessed to be alive, y'all. We are blessed to be alive. Y'all check out GSOAT, because we are the great survivors, and we are blessed to be alive, y'all. Let me tell you something. We got it in our blood. We got it in our DNA. We are resourceful. We are resilient. And that's why we're pushing for reparations, because we're not giving up the fight. We see that the progress we made, and we're not satisfied with the progress we made. We're not satisfied with the fact that, oh, we're here. Nah, we're here. That just means we're here because we can continue to fight. You know what they say? He who fights and does not move won't fight again should he lose. But he who fights and runs away shall live to fight another day. Well, if you ask me, I say my ancestors did everything right. They did everything right. You say slavery was a choice. I say you're damn right it was a choice, and my folks made the right decision to survive. They made the right decision to survive and to reproduce, so that one day they would reincarnate themselves, put themselves in a future state, which is us, us folks on the planet today. We are the reincarnation of our ancestors from times past. We are the reincarnation of our ancestors from times past. That DNA is still within us, it's still within our blood, and the ability to survive, thrive, remain resilient, and continue to fight. All of that has been passed down. It's in our DNA. And foundational black Americans, the aboriginals, the Hebrew folks, whatever you want to call yourselves, whatever you want to call yourselves, us foundational black Americans, us, we got some unique blood in us. We got a unique experience on this planet that nobody else is rocking with. Nobody else can touch it. Nobody else can touch it. All right? So don't sell yourself short. And that might be a video for a whole nother day. But once again, yep, my boy Trayvon said, yeah, he's got some Blackfoot, he got some Nigerian also. Yeah, man. A lot of us do. They call it Nigerian. They call it Nigerian, but you know, Nigeria actually wasn't a country. Our people came to America way before there was even a Nigeria. But the people from that region, what they're calling Nigeria, had a large population to this day of Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites to this day. There's a lot of Nigerian, what they're calling Nigerian Hebrews in Nigeria to this day. Check out the Igbo people. That's us. So when black Americans and black folks in the diaspora say, hey, we're Hebrew, when they start claiming their Hebrew blood, their Hebrew lineage, and it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that a lot of us have Nigerian blood. There's a lot of Hebrews in Nigeria, and there's a lot of people in America saying that we are the Hebrews as well. It's not a coincidence, and they're not wrong. Proud of you, bro. You're doing good. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm working on it, man. I'm just trying to wake up the people like you, bro. I'm just trying to wake up the people like you, bro. Keep us conscious, man. Keep us aware of what's going on this planet and prepare my people. I want to keep my people prepared. I want to tell my people to prepare themselves for what's to come. Because I assure you that even if you think things are good or bad, whether you right now living a comfy life or whether you right now are living a difficult paycheck to paycheck life, whatever life you live in now, compared to what's to come, what's to come will make, no matter where you are on the economic scale, the socioeconomic scale, what's to come will make you savor these days, will make you wish and remember and wish these days would last, because there's a lot of destruction and desolation that's coming in the not too distant future. So on this channel, I'm pushing reparations and preparations, meaning I'm telling my people to prepare, continue to fight for reparations, meaning to repair the harm from the past. But at the same time, we need to be preparing for the harms that are to come in the future. And we can't do too much on either side. We can't just only look at reparations and look at the things from the past, look at slavery and look at our Hebrew blood and look at the past. That's a lot of looking back. That's important. We got to look at the past. We got to look at our lineage. We got to look at how we got here. That's important. But we also got to look at the future. Reparations, that's the future. That's the future. When I talk about reparations, that's because I'm focused on the future. I'm focused on the next generation. I'm focused on preparing ourselves for the destruction and desolation that's going to come. Y'all call it World War III. Some people call it Armageddon. I call it biblical prophecy. Whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of harm that's on the way. Winter is coming. So I'm just telling my people to prepare for it. Hey, that's going to be it for today's video. I appreciate my boy Trayvon coming up in the chat, man. You got me rocking today. Hey, I'm glad to see you, my boy. It's good to see you, Trayvon. Yo, hit me up. Y'all can shoot me an email at ithinkitvids. I think vids vids at gmail.com. Shoot me a video at ithinkitvids@gmail.com. Yo, Trayvon, I want to holler at you, my boy. Or shoot me your email. Put your email in the comment section. I'll email you. I want to do a joint live with you. If y'all are watching, y'all be sure to subscribe to Trayvon Jones' channel. He got a real conscious talk. Trayvon Jones, tune in to Trayvon Jones to hear some conscious talk. He's got a good channel, so y'all go check him out. And I'll see you on the next one. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the thumbs up button to boost us in the algorithm, because it's free. See you on the next one, guys. Peace.